Optiplex 790s. Putting a Windows 10 on right now.
And then from there, do various sundry things with them, which I'm going to show you. It's an aluminum and copper, etc. And then we take that to a R2 certified recycler in Granite City, who does the actual final processing. By definition, we are not a recycler; we're a repurposer.
Yeah, right.
Refurbisher.
Right. Okay. And the source of your computers.
I know you recently had a data security meeting. Recently, this is our lighting. This is our hard drive that separates from the computer. The first things we do, this area over here is the area that does that. So this is essentially the incoming side. Processor speed, who donated it, etc. And that allows us, obviously, for inventory control purposes and reporting back to those.
You can see them actually working, but usually innovative when you do the child computer. Yeah.
And we moved here.
Okay.
So we went from about a 4,000 square foot building with all broken up rooms to 11,000 square feet.
Yeah, this is
with loading docks and all those things that are luxurious to do it.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Computer Bank. We are obviously very thrilled to have the governor here and a number of his staff representing departments who have been working with us with regards to this pilot project, which we're going to be talking about today. I would like to recognize a few people that are here. Obviously, the governor is here. Director Michael Hoffman is here. Director Wyant from State Museum is here. And obviously, Representative Jimenez is here. So we're glad to see her as well. The pilot partners are very important as to what this pilot is all about. Stephanie Kahn from Bunker Hill is standing behind me. She'll be speaking earlier. Dr. Lance Thurman and his superintendent, or Principal Matt Moore from Riverton is here. Todd Bean from Rooks Creek was not available. They're on break, so he's in Florida. And Penny Driver from Teddy Bear Christian Daycare is here from Riverton as well. And Angie Soleil, CEO of the YMCA. We selected these people for getting the broadest spectrum of what we think might be the potential use for this particular kind of computer. But let me first kind of go into a little bit about Computer Bank. That's what I've been asked to do today. We were founded in 1999. We're in the basement of a church with a group of volunteers. That has expanded today to what you see here today. We've been in one other place besides here on 11th Street, which many of you who know us were there for quite some time. We moved here 2.5 years ago, 11,000 square foot facility. It is a manufacturing facility, which we're very thrilled to be here and to work in this kind of environment. We were founded on, as I explained to the governor when he asked me about donations, that our original donations were from just parking lot drives, etc. And we would acquire about 300 computers a year that way and redistribute back into the community, maybe 120. As we stand here today, we're upwards of 4,000 to 5,000 per year now over the last 3 years through a corporate donation program. And we are sending back into the community this week well over 120 computers. So you can see the dynamics of what's been going on with regards to this little nonprofit we call Computer Bank. I'd also like to introduce Sam Burdinsky. I don't know where Sam is at the moment, but has to be my board chair. And without my board and the support of the board, none of this would be able to happen. Let me talk briefly about the pilot. It is about repurposing computers. In this case, I went to Representative Jimenez to talk about acquiring the assistance of government computers. That is, what could Illinois do that we could acquire state computers and be able to expand this pilot that we're going to embark upon currently. And she was extremely cooperative, and that's what the governor will be talking about, I'm sure. These computers are directed at school and student needs. I won't get into the weeds of talking technology because it usually goes over most people's heads. But if you've ever heard of the word Chromebook, they operate like a Chromebook, using a similar operating system designed by our organization. They're in a variety of different computer platforms. What we're using for this particular pilot are computers like these or a smaller version down on the other side. What's unique about them is they're a hybrid computer. They have a solid state drive that goes out to the cloud like many other computers do, and students can work in the web in a variety of ways. What is unique about what we built is they also have a second hard drive in them that has content provided by a number of individuals or organizations that allows them to work offline. And I won't get into some of those issues there, but the idea is that schools can work online or they can work offline in the classroom. And the same thing is true with a student at home. There are content programs on there called G-Capri, which is an early learning program, gaming for children. There is content here provided to us by the Illinois State Museum for educational purposes. And we also have 1,500 ebooks for students to be able to read as well, and some other programming that we find valuable to them. There's another thing on there called TestNav, which is essentially the access for schools to be able to take their assessment tests. So that there's multiple functions that happens with these computers. And I'll let our pilot partner from Bunker Hill explain what they're doing with their schools. This was all brought about a year ago when Governor Rauner signed the executive order creating his cabinet on technology and children's issues. I didn't give you the right name, but it's pretty close. And that signing was the catalyst for where we're at today. And I want to thank Governor Rauner for doing that. He signed it actually at Riverton, Riverton's one of our pilot partners. And with that note, I'm going to step aside and let the governor speak. Governor Rauner, welcome.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Good morning. Thank you. Well, you guys deserve the applause. This is wonderful, wonderful service that you all do here at Computer Bank. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Today, we're announcing the expansion of a very important public-private partnership. Education is the most important thing we do together as a community, educating our young people. And to give them a high-quality education, it's critical that they understand the use of computers in every way possible. The biggest growth in jobs and career opportunities are in science, technology, engineering, and math-related careers. We need to make sure all of our young people have outstanding computer skills and technology skills when they come through our education system. And the tragedy is many school districts don't have the resources, they don't have the financial income to support the latest technology in their classrooms, and many families don't have the income to purchase computers for their children. But every student and every school deserves access to good technology. But what Computer Bank does is refurbish computers that are donated or surplus from different organizations around the state and now around the country, and then repurpose those and donate them or make them available at very nominal cost to schools that are at need, but also they do it for veterans, for low-income seniors, they do it for other residents, people of Illinois who are at risk or at need. It's a wonderful service that Computer Bank does. Today we're focusing on their work to help our schools that don't have the financial resources and our families who don't have the capability to get access to good quality computers. Now for years, hospitals, private families, businesses have been donating computers to Computer Bank for refurbishment. The state of Illinois has done a little bit, but really not too much of donating computers. And I'll be very candid, I don't think this will surprise those of you in the media who know, our state computers are not exactly the latest and in high demand, and many of our computers aren't capable of doing the latest educational activities that our schools need. So frankly, our state computers are not a great source for Computer Bank, but we're going to be making them available as they become surplus and as we donate them or give them away. But one of the biggest potential sources is the federal government. The federal government does have high quality computers, latest technology. They have quite a bit of surplus, and they're always moving and getting the latest technology into the federal government. So we're expanding here within the state, expanding our public-private partnership and our federal government partnership between the state of Illinois and the federal government. Our Department of Central Management Services has the authority to work with the federal government on their surplus equipment. And what we are doing is expanding our work with the federal government and aggressively going after their surplus computers, both down at Scott Air Force Base and over in the East Coast around Washington, D.C. Sara Jimenez, the representative here in Springfield, has been an outstanding leader in advocating for this work. And we're going to talk about the expansion with the federal government right here now. But there's a big potential opportunity for more computers coming from the federal government being refurbished and repositioned and then donated to our schools across Illinois to help enhance the quality of the education for our young people here. With that, I'll turn it over to Representative Jimenez.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you very much for being here today. My role in this is fairly small in that David Fowler and the Computer Bank came to our office about a year ago and said, hey, we have this great idea and we need a little help trying to navigate government and trying to make it happen. And when they came to me, I thought, gosh, this seems like a no-brainer to try to implement this, partner with the state and a nonprofit right here in Springfield in the capital city and figure out a way where we could work with the state of Illinois, the nonprofit, the schools, and it really was the brainchild of David Fowler and his team here at Computer Bank and the board members and all the volunteers. I've been familiar with Computer Bank for many years here in our community. They do great work, and as everyone knows and has been said by previous speakers, that kids need access to this digital technology. When I've talked to kids in our community, I say, well, if you don't know something, where do you go to figure it out? And they say, well, we Google it, or we go to YouTube. And so, when I was a kid, which wasn't that long ago, but it's getting longer by the day, internet was coming about, but you still went to the library and looked at an encyclopedia or a book or something your parents had. But now it is just so essential that our children have access to this digital technology. It's the way of the world, and I'm just so thankful that we have creative minds and innovators right here in Springfield and organizations who are thinking outside the box and trying to figure out a way, especially in a tough financial time, not only for our state but for our schools, to figure out how we can get more computers in the hands of our children. And so I've been happy to be part of the process, and I will continue to help push our state government folks and in the federal government to try to figure out how we can continue to get more computers in the hands of our schools at a low price, as well as our kids here in the state of Illinois. And with that, I will introduce Stephanie Can, who's the principal of Wolf Ridge Elementary and Junior High School in Bunker Hill, who has been part of this pilot program, and she'll be able to talk to you firsthand about this program. Stephanie?
Thank you. Good morning. I am absolutely thrilled to be here today as representative, as a member of this pilot program. It's done so much for us, and we really appreciate all the work that David Fowler has done to get this and make this possible for us. The Computer Bank pilot program has afforded the students, our students, the opportunity to integrate real-time technology into their classrooms. 21st century learning is essential, as the governor said, for students to be career and college ready in today's global economy. Technology is really growing faster than even most for-profit companies can keep up with, let alone underfunded schools. I believe that Mr. Fowler and his dedicated group here at Computer Bank truly have set up a win-win situation for the youth by involving older students in some of the device refurbishment, which I don't think we've talked about, and then providing the younger students the occasion to actually immerse the technology into their daily curriculum. It becomes part of what they do every day, just as the workforce. The additional assistance and maintenance of this low-cost pilot program also aids our district's minimal technology budget, while the provided preloaded software that he spoke of delivers a lot more learning choices for our students as well. Being able to work offline is essential due to the limited wireless capabilities we have. We are working on that as well, but it does help us. So those preloaded programs are very helpful. The Illinois State Library is a great resource as well. I don't know if you know, but Bunker Hill is a very small rural tax cap district in southwestern Illinois, with most of our budget earmarked for general maintenance of existing buildings and teacher salaries. It has made such a difference just in like the 2 months that we've had these computers for our K-5 students who have approximately 5 to 7 computers now in each of the classrooms. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you went from nothing to that, that's a huge difference. They have them at arm's reach. They might not otherwise have, it would have otherwise been considered an indulgence in our district, to be honest, without this particular pilot program. You know, technology, they say, always helps the world go round, but teachers and groups like the Computer Bank actually help cash-strapped districts such as ours be a part of that world instead of looking at it. I would also like to thank our 48th District State Senator Andy Menard for introducing me initially to the Computer Bank program, and to the governor, and I thought Secretary Purvis was going to be here, but Representative Jimenez as well, for recognizing the vision of the Computer Bank and offering this low-cost technology access to all of the underserved children in Illinois, not just in schools, but in daycares and in the YMCA and the other partner programs. I wanted to close with a quote from a third grade girl in our district, who I think sums up best what's happening in the school. When I asked her what she thought about having the new computers in her classroom, she emphatically answered, "They're wonderful. We play games, we draw, we type, but Miss Can, we learn stuff too." I believe that this quote would also easily apply to the students who work to rebuild the computers here at the Computer Bank as well. You know, they say it can only take one resounding fact to change a person's entire perspective on something. Well, this new access to technology for our students allows them billions of such facts, and thus the ability to change societal or global perceptions. Thank you so much again for letting me participate in this pilot program. It has truly changed the world for many of our students. Thank you, Representative. I think it's her agenda.
If, I think now we can open it up to questions, and David can be available for that.
You know, you read my mind in, just yesterday, we were hearing about how the state's computers are inadequate. So the ones we hold on to are inadequate. I can only imagine what the surplus ones are. It sounds more like this is a leveraged federal surplus and
That's right.
No state financial commitment?
That's right. This is really not taking state financial resources. What this doing is leveraging our relationship and our authority with the federal government. We have the authority to manage federal surplus through our Department of CMS here in Springfield, and that's what we're doing. We are going to be very aggressively working with the federal government, going after their surplus computers. Scott Air Force Base, big source. Washington, D.C., big source, other sources, and their surplus is actually pretty high quality equipment and can really help make a difference in a lot of low-income schools.
Now, when I was in grade school, along with my classmate Abe, slate, there was one classroom in 5th grade in Champaign that had Plato, and that was, you know, that was big time. What was your first experience, Governor, with using a computer or owning a computer in your day?
Well, this is an interesting question. So I'm right at the bubble where we just were through school right as computers were coming in. So I never had a computer in school. I had an HP calculator, which was one of the more advanced calculators in my class, and we were transitioning from slide rule in high school. I mean, this is scary for some of you guys, but slide rule to digital calculators. And my first job out of college, I did not have any computers in college at all. In my first job out of college, it was a big deal. My little firm, little startup investment firm, there were 6 of us, we bought a personal computer, an Apple personal computer. Everybody was like, whoa, and everybody wanted to use it, and like, this is the coolest thing. And we had one for the firm. We had one for the firm for 2 years, back in 1981. And since obviously things have changed a little bit since then, it is so essential that the young people of Illinois, every student, be very, very comfortable using computers and using the latest technology. It is essential for them to maximize their learning in school, but also the careers. Every good paying career uses computers in a significant way, and our students deserve to have that access, regardless of their family income or what neighborhood they live in.
Can you talk a bit about the timeline of this pilot program? Is it going to be expanded? If so, when? What some of the parameters?
Yeah, so who would like to talk?
Be happy to
Okay.
answer that. What we've been talking about at the moment is what we call pre-pilot. 142 computers distributed to the pilot partners I identified earlier. What we are in the process of right now is building a minimum of 2,000 computers to be available to schools and school children beginning the early part of August, when schools are coming back together, if you will, to begin the new school year. Obviously, we'll continue to build them after that, but we're providing 2,000 to start out with. And that will be the second pilot, which is essentially our primary pilot, obviously because of scope, 142 versus 2,000. We have also contracted with University of Illinois here in Springfield to do an evaluation of the usage of those computers, that will continue to get data back and eventually a white paper that, as we are distributing the computers throughout the school year, we'll continue to tweak and make fine-tuning on those particular computers. So that's the scope of what we're doing. We have a mini going on right now, or pre-pilot, and the major pilot really is being announced today for the 2,000 computers for the upcoming school year.
What kind of computers? 2,000? Would it be laptops? What kind of?
Actually, there's a variety of computers involved. If you look around the room, there are larger or towers. There are what we call mini towers, or small form factors. We do have it available on laptops. Laptops don't have quite the same capabilities at this point in time, but we're looking to change that as well as we continue to advance it during the school year. So there will be a number of different computer platforms, but the operating system and the content and the data that's available will be identical regardless of the actual physical platform.
I know Representative Warren was supposed to be here, and the principal mentioned Senator Menard. Was everybody invited, or is it one party or another, or how'd that happen?
Yes, all were invited. My understanding is the legislature is in session. There are meetings going on in Chicago and elsewhere, and unfortunately a number of them got pulled up to Chicago for whatever is going on up there.
Governor, or at least the CMS director, can you guys address other public-private partnerships that can save school districts money or save the state money and working together?
Sure. So the Department of Central Management Services runs the surplus programs for the state. And the surplus programs really are state surplus property from agencies, universities, others who are getting rid of all types of property. It also includes the federal surplus, which we're talking about today with the computers and computer bank. It also involves the Law Enforcement Support Office. And so what we've done is, these are programs that have been existing for a while, but as the governor mentioned, we're really revitalizing those through engagement, outreach, through our representatives, through partners in the nonprofit sector, as well as those at other agencies, to make sure that we use these surplus programs to extend our resources and support for local government, for schools, for others, without further burdening the state budget. So all these programs are run at a budget neutral level.
Does Computer Bank get anything from the state, or is it all donations, or how do you fund it?
Anything as to
Funding.
computers? Funding? No, we do not get funding from the state of Illinois. We haven't applied for any grants either. We essentially support ourselves on a modest fee that we charge for the computers as they're sent back to either a school or a child or whatever. That's what pays our overhead.
Great. Well, thanks everybody. Appreciate it. Good work.
Thank you,
for your
Governor.
leadership.
Thank you very much.